Hello, happy Friday. It's August, and welcome to Five Things Friday European Edition. Hello, Alex. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. This is the first time you're watching. My name's Alex. I help retailers maintain their thought leadership at the major conferences across the globe. And I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Alex Boisson. Alex, what do you do?
I work for Business France, the French Trade Commission in London, and I help French retail technology companies to expand in the UK, but also British retailers to find innovative solutions in France.
Fantastic. And so without any further ado, let's just jump straight in. Five Things Friday. Let's see what we have today. So why don't we start with you, Alex?
Yeah, so today's first news is about something we discussed in the first episode of Five Things Friday. So we discussed the boom of the drive-through model in France, and we mentioned as well the pedestrian model. So this topic will resonate in a different way since it is about Delipop, a startup that offered robotic and multi-brand grocery pickup points, which is unfortunately shutting down. So they have launched in 2021, and they allowed users to collect online grocery orders from several retailers. So this is different from for example, the Leclerc model, which was its own brand model. This one was for several retailers, including Carrefour, Intermarché, Monoprix, and they were using automated lockers open from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. The idea was to create a more efficient and shared alternative to traditional pedestrian drive-thrus, but in the end, the concept didn't really scale. Delipop only opened 9 locations, and that they faced many obstacles, including regulatory pushback from Paris, being confused with quick commerce models. They also had a limited investor interest, and most importantly, I think a challenging retail environment. So they had originally aimed for 1,000 locations by 2027, but the rollout never took off. So I think this is...
So I know you've highlighted 2 or 3 different reasons on why they failed, but do you think that's more ultimately it's consumers not wanting to pick up from lockers, or they just love all drive-throughs?
I think this is mainly a reminder that if the environment isn't ready, even promising ideas can struggle. And this is not... I think the shared automated pickup points make sense, really, especially for reducing delivery costs and traffic in cities. But between unclear rules and rising competition from the other lockers and all the delivery apps, I think it was just not the right timing for them. So the concept may come back later, but it will need to be stronger in better conditions to succeed. Because, for example, the Leclerc one was... I mean, all the others are really successful.
Yeah,
so it's a shame to see that, but hopefully it will come back.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So the next one was obviously the articles from the Financial Times, but I think it's an interesting development in Chinese powerhouses trying to create footholds in Europe. They did try to buy Currys in the UK, but they didn't go ahead with that. And to me, I think they've probably got a European strategy in terms of how do we buy a major, and they've put a bid in for MediaMarkt Saturn. For those who don't know, MediaMarkt Saturn is one of the largest electronics retailers across Europe with 1,000 stores. The bid is around, is it MediaMarkt Saturn Leo? So they're at 20. Wow, I mean, that's bigger than I thought. 22 billion euros in turnover in last year, which I think makes them quite significant. How do you compete with Amazon in Europe? And I think this is a foothold that they're trying to get. Whether or not regulators in Germany approve this, I think it will be an interesting one to watch. Are we going to see more of these in terms of Chinese companies trying to take a foothold in the retail landscape like they... Moving on, we've discussed this, or I've discussed this in different shows. Like the is they're getting the button, but they're missing their targets an earnings perspective. And one of the reasons this is in Vogue Business that they sort of comment on a few major brands such as Ferragamo, Prada Group, Burberry, Moncler, Kering. Obviously, Kering owning lots of large brands within the group, luxury brands. Shoppers from the US and China are basically not buying luxury when they're coming over, and tourist numbers are down in general across Europe. Now, I don't know if this is an outcome of the trade wars, so hopefully it's just maybe this summer that this happens to, and it's not something we see year on year, because I think that will have detrimental impacts on the economies that depend on tourism. But it definitely is having an impact on the European brands. And for those who may not watch the Asia Pac show, but on that show, I was talking about the rise of Chinese luxury brands that are serving their local market. So now you've got homegrown brands, and the one that I was talking about was based in Shanghai. They came to Paris Fashion Week. They launched at Paris Fashion Week. They did incredibly well. And, you can buy their garments through all of the luxury online platforms such as Farfetch and all the others. But is this a sign of things to come where Chinese consumers culturally more aligned with luxury brands from home? It's an interesting one to watch. Back over to you.
Thank you, Alex. So I think this third topic will resonate with boom of e-commerce that we also mentioned in the first episode or the second one. Can't remember. You can edit this maybe. But there's this Dutch online supermarket called Picnic.
I know. Well, they're very cool.
Yes, they are. They just opened a new hub near Paris. This is the 10th hub for the brand in the region. It allows them to serve more than 500,000 households in cities like Levallois, Colombes. So it's really interesting to see that they are expanding fast.
Yeah.
And this move completes their rollout in the Île-de-France region 2 years after launching in the area. So the concept is very simple. All the deliveries are free, scheduled in 20 minutes, and made with electrical vehicles. So there are no physical stores, just a mobile app and a central warehouse south of Paris. So the brand now covers 2 million households across the Paris region and continues to grow fast with more hubs and jobs planned. And it's also preparing to expand to other major cities by 2026, but they haven't revealed which one yet. So I'm really excited to see which one it's going to be. And I think this is a great example of how smart logistics and a clear focus on service can help retailers scale fast. Their model is very appealing, especially for busy families. It reminds me of Ocado here in London. But we have to be mindful that the competition of quick commerce is growing, and the challenge will be keeping the model both efficient and sustainable at the same time without falling into traps of the over-delivery or unnecessary packaging.
I remember seeing the CEO founder Shop Talk Europe before COVID. So I don't know, 2019, 2018. And the one thing, and obviously they set up in the Netherlands. Now, I don't know if they're exporting this to Europe, but the one thing that they really, really, really made a big play on is that they are a local community-based delivery company, meaning that driver who delivers on these floats they're going to know your name. It's interesting. And maybe that was how they started, and now they are part of the quick commerce revolution. But me feels what they're trying to do, and their network for expansion was creating these network hubs that the drivers can sort of service. And, like, I don't know if this was a European thing, but in the UK, we used to have our milk delivered on milk floats like this. And that's what they're trying to get back to, and to create that community. And that's, for them, was working really, really well. And specifically for the aging demographics, such as, people, pensioners who are retired. or people with disability, people who can't go shopping, who may be alone. It was their sort of lifeline or their sort of communal grocery delivery. So I thought it was an interesting attack. I have no idea if that's what they're going to use in Europe or they're just going to be a quick commerce fulfillment like Ocado. Because Ocado, to me, doesn't build a sense of community. It's just delivery, right? It's efficient delivery and efficient houses. Whereas this is less efficiency and more community. But as I said,
and sustainability as well.
That's why the electric trucks as well.
Yes, exactly.
Because their principle was why, I don't know how many, 2 million people going to the grocers or one electric van serving 250 people, 250,000 people at a time. So yeah, really interesting. I didn't even realize they'd moved to France now. But yeah, great to see. Okay, bringing it home for the last one. Now, this one's really topical in the sense of I always like stories because I'm a bit of a sci-fi nerd. I am a nerd, I have to admit. I like stories that potentially give me a glimpse of the future. And this is exactly that type of story. And this is in France. And this is according to Marie Claire.co.uk. So I'm hoping it's true. And I'm not just, this was in July that this article was published by Lauren Cunningham, basically saying that France has just made influencing fast fashion a crime. And a lot of eco warriors or people focused on sustainability, etc., will go, fantastic, that's brilliant. But they've only focused on the Chinese brands. So on Temu and Shein as being I presume, a criminal offense to be an influencer. And so fast forward to the future where we are in a creator economy, obviously the freedom then to be a creator for whoever you want. In this instance, you can't potentially be a creator for a brand from another country. You can only support European fast fashion houses such as H&M and Inditex. So again, maybe there's nuances that I'm overlooking, such as the products, the transparency behind the products. And these European brands are far more transparent. So we know the types of ingredients that are going onto thing. They're meeting European standards. So I have to be fair in my assessment. I can't say, it's just because they're Chinese. No, because I understand the transparency on the goods. How are the goods made? There's been lots of coverage of goods being made with really bad materials. But it's super interesting to see the creator economy now being impacted by these types of laws. So that brings us whirlwind super fast on 15 minutes. We'll just be underneath 15 minutes. 5 Things Friday European edition. Are you going to be on a beach anytime soon, Alex?
No, I'm afraid not.
No, anytime soon. Okay. We're going to be working through what's the weather in the UK like right now?
It's cold and cloudy, 20 degrees. Seriously, I wish I was in south of France. I saw this morning it was 37 degrees in Toulouse, where I'm from. So, yeah, I wish I was there. But
that's okay. I wish you were there.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to say on that bombshell, we're going to call it. Thank you so much, Alex. And until
Thanks for having me.